it's me, Richard Anthony Marca, and this is the expense tracker app. And this is the expense tracker application for homework 3. As you can see, I have it running on the side right now. And we learned a lot of different things in this assignment. For example, are these app bars. You can see on the bottom here and here. And we added other new functions like, if I click on this little plus sign, a date selector, category selector, inputs for title and amount, where we could either save the expenses, which I will go through that right now. Let's just say I got a burger and the amount was $12.56. Put the category and food. Now, if I don't have a date selected and I try to save it, it won't let me. It will say invalid input, which is supposed to, because we need a date. I click on the date selector and it has a list of dates. Notice how future dates are grayed out and can't be selected. Past dates can be, but I'll select today's date. Okay. Save the expense, and there we go. Adds it with this chart that's updating it as well. We also have a nice list view of everything we put down. If we add even more, say add travel, gas, 100. I'll also say for today, automatically puts in the 0.00. If we go under expense item, we have a new function, toString as fixed, with this 2. Basically, it automatically adds 2 decimal points. So if I did the 100, as you saw before, it will add the 2. Or if it has, because money only has 2 decimal places. The new expense file is where we add the additional data with the plus sign. And the data we add, for example, is the date, which we installed under expenses, the INTL outside package, which basically formats the date, year, month, day. That's what the YMD stands for. Also beads, which is another imported file from outside. UUID, which is a unique ID function, which basically makes each of these IDs unique, and even with little icons here and icons here. If I want to add another food, let's just say hot dog. For some reason they were $30, 3555. Let's just say that for food. Choose today's date again. I mean, I'll actually add a different date if that works. Save expense. It doesn't round up, I noticed, but that's not that big of a deal. It's only a penny. As you can see, icons are with each of these categories that are unique. So if we go into the expenses list, we have an area where we have a list view builder, because we don't want columns, because these can get an infinite amount of size. So we want to use list views to build the data that's visible or about to be visible, and not the data that doesn't exist. As you can see with the app bar, it opens with the plus. There we go. We have different areas, which is under expense area, where we can add expenses. So let's just say I add an expense. We could add expenses and remove expenses. Let's just say I add a food, pizza, 20. And because I have the toString as fixed 2 for the money, I don't have to put a decimal space. It will automatically provide one. So food, everything has to be selected. So I save this. Now to say, oh shoot, that pizza I got was $10, not 20, because 20 is absurd. Well, I want to delete it. Instead of having to restart everything, in the expenses, we created a remove expense function, which all you have to do, slide that down to the right or to the left, doesn't matter. I'm going to go this way though. And voila, everything updated and it was deleted. In fact, I could delete everything. And you can even undo it in case there was an error. But you have to do that one like right when you do it. No expenses found. Start adding some is the default when there is nothing there. And I can add leisure, movies, 12.59. If I don't add a date and try to save the expense, it will give the pop-up, which we have under new expense, where we have the submit expense data, invalid input alert dialog. So since my input's invalid because I didn't put a date, it has the pop-up. I press OK. I add the date, choose any date that's previous. It won't let me choose a date that doesn't exist. That's under the present date picker. So I'll just choose today's date, save expense, voila. There we go. Now we have stuff there. And if I want gas for travel, so say it's $90. Press OK on the date, save, and there we go. We added that new, we added the new piece of data. We also have these files for charts, which actually creates these charts, little charts here, with each of the unique IDs that we created, food, leisure, travel, work, can go up and down as much as, compared to, I mean, basically could go up and down as much as it's needed, and it is made it darker than the background brightness. That way you can actually see it. Also have these nice icons, very nice. Expenses, where we have those two imported files from an outside source, the UUID, which is a unique ID, and the INTL, which is for basically the dates formats. See each of those categories. Instead of having it just the array or a list, it's now a category. So they are more unique that way. We use UUIDv4, the format date, several getters in here, get functions. So with the drop-down menus in this app bar, or this model bottom sheet right here, that's if I go down, goes through the bottom, I'm able to add all this information and remove it whenever I need to. And we're able to dismiss this whenever we want. Instead of just having to press cancel, we could just whoop, go fast, whoop, slide it down. And that is with the dismissible function, which is dispose. So able to dispose of the function. And that is it. Thank you for listening to this basic summary of this assignment.